welcome to another episode of Tampa Bay Politics. I'm your co-host.
I am your co-host as well, Jarvis
Birdsong
Delamine.
And Angela Birdsong.
Yes.
Affectionately known as the Medicare lady during the week.
Of course.
Of course. But during every Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock on In Touch News, we're here to tell you what's going on in politics in Tampa Bay.
Yes. This is where you want to be. Welcome to the show. If you want to call in and get in on this, I'm going to give you the number early, 813-444-9588, 813-444-9588. We have in the studio with us a candidate from the slate card that we're going to flip Florida blue. Freedom start with us in the Democratic Party. We have Mr. David Tillery. He's running for State House 66. He want to be a lawmaker. Let's give him a round of applause.
Is in the house today with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We are so excited because this is a winnable seat.
Yes.
It's a flippable seat.
Yes.
Your vote can take this from red to blue.
That's right, and that's what we want to do. Flip it blue. All right, Angela, go ahead and give him the Tampa Bay Politics routine and how we do things here at Tampa Bay Politics every Wednesday.
Hey, you know what? We always start at the beginning. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in Stuttgart, Germany. My father was an army sergeant, and me and my twin brother were born there. And
okay.
And then all my brothers and sister were born in other cities and in other states as well. So we traveled a lot.
How many you got?
I've got 3 brothers and a sister.
Okay.
And I spent most of my life here in Florida, though.
All right, then.
Yeah.
Once you get to Florida, sand in your toes, it's hard to get it out of there.
When did you get to Florida?
Well, I got here back as an adult. I got here in 84, 85, and I've been living in the same house in Carrollwood for over 30 years.
That's fantastic.
Carrollwood, Florida, same place I live.
Yes. Angela Birdsong, Commissioner Angela Birdsong, hometown.
No, my hometown is New York.
But New Yorkers never give up New York, DJ CEO. So she pivot back to that New York. New York. But she got the Florida sand in the toe. She's a Floridian now.
Yeah,
so.
I've been here 30 years.
All right, then. You're Floridian.
Yep. Me and my wife just celebrated our 35th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's more than a notion. We appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
You got children's?
My wife has a daughter, and I helped raise her from a very young age. And I also raised my sister's son when she fell ill.
Oh.
I was his surrogate father pretty much most of his life, too. And now they're both grown up.
So they call it bonus father now. That's what the new word is.
Oh.
Not stepfather, bonus father. Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
He's actually the uncle. Yeah.
Uncle and bonus
uncle
father.
that
That's
stepped
right.
in, yeah.
That's all, and that's all good.
Okay. So, what do you do for a living?
Well, right now I'm running for office.
That's 100% of your time.
That's all I do. That's
Wow.
100%.
That is a commitment, and I'm really impressed with that. That means that you're serious, not just curious.
Yes. But before that, I produce through my company, Soho Tribe Productions, live events, benefits, as well as I have a retail wholesale business that I do. And I run a nonprofit called the North Tampa Dart Association, which is an amateur sports league for local dart players to play steel tip darts in the bars that we have in our locations in North Tampa. And
all right.
we have fundraisers for other worthy charities such as the USO Airport and Autism Awareness.
Okay, we're going to get to that part, so don't go too fast for us.
Okay.
Back it up just a little bit. Where you went to school at?
Oh, I went to school when I was very young, Adams Junior High School, Chamberlain High School, moved back to Ohio for a short bit, and then after graduation, I moved back down here.
Mm-hmm. Did you go in higher education in college or something like that?
I took some college courses at USF. I got a certificate as an event planner. I spent the courses through that, and much of my education I've done on my own as a self-educator.
I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
Because I come from that same line of thought. I did a lot of reading, a lot of self-education, certificates. That's fantastic. So that means that you really was focused on what you wanted to learn that can benefit people.
Exactly. I've been involved with the community for many decades, and I've used my experience to produce benefits for various charities for decades. So, yeah.
Do you have an event tonight?
Actually, I do.
What's going on?
Tell us about it, listeners.
I am also a comedy writer and stand-up performer, as well as an activist singer-songwriter. Right now, tonight at O'Brien's Irish Pub on North Dale Mabry from 8 to 10 o'clock, we have a show called Cans for Comedy. And that show has the option for people to come in lieu of payment. It's a free show. They bring in cans and clothing donations, which goes to Homeless Helping Homeless. They're on St. Clair here in Tampa, and they're one of the few, the small 14 of the 14 locations in the United States that provides full help and service for the homeless. Every detail that you can imagine that a homeless person can get, they do it.
That's wonderful.
That is wonderful. And I tell you something, I'm very impressed with that. When you can see people that's involved in public service, also involved in community service, and doing things free, not what they're getting paid for, because that's going to be one of my questions about your involvement in community service. We'll get to that. But tell me again about it, Cans and Comedy. That sounds good.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I've been producing it since February, and we've had a lot of success. We've had it at Spitfire Comedy House. We've had it at another club in West Tampa. We've got it now also going here in North Tampa. I'm trying to expand this project nationally to other cities where other comedy clubs will produce this free show where people will bring in cans of clothing for local homeless organizations. Right now, we have tonight Steve Eric, the rock and roll comic. He's a professional headlining comic that's been traveling and working in the Bay Area for decades. He's going to be doing the feature show. We have a different feature every time we have the show. So we've got a headliner. How do you get the word
out about that? How do you promote it?
Well, we have social media and lots of different ways. I promote it through the Tampa Times listings of calendar event, Channel 8, also Creative Loafing. They wrote a story about us recently. They did an article. I was in a segment on the Morning Blend show. For this
pretty good
event, and we've been doing a lot of promotions. People like to know the good things that are going on in the Bay, and they're willing to promote it if we're doing something out of the goodness of our hearts to help other people.
Right. Well, you want you to see, can you find a spot in the African-American neighborhood? Bring it in the hood, brother. Come on. And bring a good African-American. You know, we got some great comics that can really set people afire, and this would be a real attraction. And we got a lot of homeless people in East Tampa, West Tampa, that got a lot of need in those communities, and we would like to see it coming. You can promote it on In Touch Radio, you can do other black media, and get the word out, and just want you to consider that, because
and we got some great black establishments.
Sure do. Got some great black establishment. We got the Rose Bar, we got the Burns Restaurant in West Tampa. We got a lot of nice establishment. You know, we want diversity and inclusion.
I love it. Inclusion is a part of my campaign.
And unfortunately, we are included in the homeless population.
That's right.
When we did the segment on Morning Blend, that week was Sloan. He's an African-American comic here in the Tampa Bay area, and he's making headlines. Okay. You know Sloan.
You know him? Okay, then DJCU, no, I haven't heard of him, and I pride myself in being a person around the town that know a lot of people. But if you say good and then DJCEO say good, you got to be good. So that's fantastic.
Say CEO is really known as Daryl Johnson.
Daryl Johnson,
the owner of In Touch News and In Touch Radio.
Yes,
with Tammy Johnson.
Tampa Bay Tammy. I like that.
Tampa Bay Tammy.
But I like to call him DJ CEO because it just fit him. He's just so professional. You know, he's a CEO and he do what he do well. But we're glad he let Tampa Bay politics in the family. And also, I'm glad Angela allowed me to come in the family. I'm new to the family, and I'm glad to be a part of it. But let me just say this to you, brother. We glad to have you here. Give us some other good things. We have 3 segments, so we're about to end this segment in a little bit. Sure. So give us a little bit more about you before we get into the politics. Because when we start digging politics, right, Angela, it's going to get hot. It's going to get thick. It's going to get tough. And so we want you to kind of enjoy this little smooth sailing in, because it's going to get a little more serious as we go in. So tell us a little bit more about you and, you know, what you do.
How did you start running for office?
Yes.
Well, I've been involved with the Democratic Party for many decades behind the scenes, and doing a lot of online social media, making memes that are funny and thought-provoking for quite some time, especially after Trump got in office. So, and as a comic,
They
and
got a lot
Don't
of
even
people.
call that name. We just said 45.
45, yeah. Also as a comic, I've been producing lots of political satire on my comedy channel.
That's great.
So Ace Williams. So that kind of transitioned me, and also as a singer-songwriter, human rights singer-songwriter, you combine the two, and my efforts has always been for doing good for the community as well. Put it all together, and the next step was to bring it to the next level, to run for office and do something serious.
And I like how you use the word human rights activist. And, you know, when Minister Malcolm X, some people call him a civil rights activist, but his real title was a human rights activist.
Okay.
For human rights for all people, you know.
That's
and I
right.
like how you say that. And you don't hear that much.
Yeah.
You don't hear that much.
Because we're all humans.
That's right. We're all human. We start there.
We start there, we stay equal if we can. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, we at least it's an equitable starting point.
Yes.
And I agree with that. So how you start using the word? Because not a lot of people use it. I'm just curious.
As far as
Human rights.
I think of the world, all aspects of the world as one human race, and we should look at each other that way and support each other, regardless of what we look like and what we think and what we believe. We should all have a feeling of unity and caring not only for each other but for the planet.
That is so nice. And, you know, it says in my faith tradition, it said we created in nations and tribes that we may know each other, not despise each other. It said the most honor to you is the one who keep his duty to God. And so what make us better is how good we are in keeping our duty to God. And so when you start talking about duty and responsibility and as human beings, that we love each other and know each other. You know, we don't know each other. And the more we talk to each other as human beings, the more we get to know each other.
That's right. More
And
communication.
the more we realize that we all want the same things out of life and deserve the
Same
same
things
rights.
in life. Yes.
Absolutely.
And the messaging is what we got as a party. We got to start owning the messaging. Everybody deserves a safe, healthy place to live, opportunities. And we, as the Democrats, we got to start owning the messaging. We cannot let the opposition party beat us at the messaging. And I think that's what's happening. And we, as candidates, Angela running for county commission, you running for state house, we got to beat our opponent with the messaging.
That's right.
Well, that's where it happened at in politics. It happened with messaging.
And you know what's the wonderful thing about being a Democrat? You don't have to lie to the people.
That's right.
Right.
You don't have to take away their rights.
Right.
And you don't have to suppress their vote.
Right. And you don't have to make up things.
Right. That's what
You
I'm
can have
saying,
a
lies.
clear message without just pulling anything out your head. Because the opposition party just pull in, they say anything. Especially in the era of 45. They say whatever comes to their mouth. Whether it sound good, it just make no sense. It sound like a plumb idiot. They say it.
They are a party of buzzwords without meaning.
Wow. All right, David. David looked at it and say, now take that. That was great, David. Yeah, that's fantastic. But you're definitely right. So part of how we're going to win this thing and keep power is that we got to control the messaging. Tampa Bay politics. We have in the studio with us David Tillery. He's running for State House 66. We're going to come back and dig deeper. Me and Angela Birdsong having fun and talk about this race and learn about the race and how he feel and what kind of stands he got and what kind of issues he going to take and what he going to do when he get to Tallahassee. We'll be right back.
This is the recipe you've been waiting for. A little touch of smooth mixed with a big touch of soul.
This is how we do it.
We are In Touch Radio.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and I'm running to be your next Hillsborough County Commissioner in District 2. And I want to encourage you to vote by mail. You can do that by contacting your supervisor of elections in your county. Voter suppression is real, and we have to be prepared to vote and get your family members registered. Do it today. Call me if you have a question. 813-476-4837. 813-476.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Then I think about the
And we're back. You are listening to Tampa Bay Politics. So glad you have joined us because we got an awesome guest today. We have David Tillery. He has stepped up to the plate to be your next state rep. Tell us what your district encompasses.
Oh, thank you. My district, if you go left to right, we're looking at Keystone. We're looking at, oh, you're a Keystoner? Okay, well, love to have your vote. Okay. Also, Odessa. We got Citrus Park. We've got Carrollwood. We've got North Tampa, Forest Hills, Lake Magdalene, Lutz. It's a large area of residential homes.
Okay.
Okay.
And so tell us what the breakdown between Dems and Republicans.
That's pretty much an even split.
Even split.
Pretty close. Just a slight lean to the Republicans starting out. But that's on paper. This is a new district. District 66 is brand new. No one's voted in this particular group until this election.
So there's no incumbent.
There is a incumbent on paper who was in a different district. For the election.
So technically, he's not no incumbment.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We don't want to claim no incumbent.
Technically, for this district, yeah.
That
There
was
you go.
Tracy Coster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that will be the only time we mention her name, because I'm a firm believer. Don't mention the opponent name. Why give her free airtime?
Well, if you see that name, just go to the other side and vote for Tillery.
I could tell you.
And great pivot, Angela.
I could tell you right off the bat, she's voted against women's rights. She's voted against voters' rights. She's voted against LGBTQ rights. She's voted against Black History rights.
Okay, we're going to get to that part.
Yes. Okay, we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that part, because let me tell you
Could
why.
she possibly be a Republican?
Definitely not an independent.
Well, that answered the question.
Oh, talking about independents, I believe that you got quite a few independents in your district, too.
Yeah.
Certainly do.
Because a lot of that district also, Sister Angela Birdsong district, too. Some of those same areas is in District 2.
And believe it or not, it's a third, and a third.
It's a third, and third. So that's important, too.
Yeah, those independents are vast.
We've got
A vast
72,000 independents in my district.
And so you got two
That's
kind of
a
independents, though. Let's talk about that. You got independents that lean Republicans and independents that lean Democratic.
There are Republicans who don't want you to know that.
Right, and some of those independents are straight up Republicans.
Yes.
Let's
They
be
just
real
don't
about it.
want to know. They just don't want
They
you to know.
shame-faced it. All right, let's go here to why you chose District 66, other than you probably live in the district. Why you chose it?
Oh, well, when I found out there was no one running at the time, and I thought to myself, they could do worse, because I've been involved in the community doing so many things. Sat on a special tax district 13 as a board member.
Okay.
How long you sit there? Because that's really almost like elected official, really.
Yeah, it's unelected, but it's something
Have
that
the same kind of power.
We used our authority to control
Tax district.
our taxing and how we handle taking care of our
So
neighborhood.
that is some good experience. How long you stayed there?
A couple years, and then my wife took over for a couple years. So, but
Or was it stayed in the family for 4 years?
yeah. So
That's good, though. But that's good experience. You know, it's a taxing district. New Tampa got one, and they control a big budget. They sit on these boards, and it's really a dress rehearsal for elected officials, in my opinion.
Yes. We have the CDD boards, the HOA
Yes.
boards.
Yes,
They're
yeah.
all great experiences.
They're great
Yes,
experiences.
I'm also on the Florida Dart Association board, which is a state level. I'm on the executive board for them. I've determined policy for that organization.
The good thing
as well.
about darts, anybody can do it.
That's
right.
true.
Yeah, that is true.
So I'm sure you got a lot of takers for that.
Sure.
That's fine.
So tell us.
Yes, good
so-
fellowship.
She right.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question, because this is a question as a consultant, as a political activist, that I always like to ask. What did you do as community service, free, with no money involved, that now you want to run for office? What is your record of community service?
Well, originally back in '94, we're talking going way back. I worked with Pastor Brown. I keep saying chaplain because that's the way I've known him for decades. Pastor Moses Brown and Feed Our Children. We worked together helping 3,000 needy kids get a Thanksgiving dinner.
Yep.
Every Thanksgiving. I worked with him as long as I could for years until I moved, and that was way back when. Back to when I moved into Carrollwood. I've worked with other organizations such as the YMCA. We've had our Dart League do exhibitions for children to learn how to play darts and learn sportsmanship. I've worked with the USO Airport. We've had fundraisings for them, as well as autism awareness. There's so many more. Yeah.
Well, that's a good start because Chaplain Pastor Moses Brown Feed Your Children been around a long time, Sister Angela. Over 35 years that I've been in this town. He's been doing it. He used to have a column in the Florida Sentinel and ran something on the radio station. Okay. But we want to make sure that you definitely mention that because he have a long record of good community service, and that's something that's good, that you have a heart for people. And you got to have that before you run for office. You just can't be a I call them pop-up candidates. You know, all of a sudden you went to sleep and pop up and you want to be elected official. It unfortunately really don't work like that, and don't work too good like that, in my opinion.
I even performed at many churches and schools with him when I was a musician, performing my human rights songs.
All right, then. Well, tell us about, because we talked off air about the blues ship, and you did a blues thing with old Sarasota Slim and did some kind of fundraiser for Pastor Brown. Yep. Blues is real. We're in the South. The blues is really, really good. Tell us about that.
That's near and dear to my heart, the blues.
Yes.
We had a blues ship, the Blues Ship Cafe in Ybor City. We had a fundraiser. It was my first major fundraiser that we did. We had Rock Bottom headlining. We had Sarasota Slim, great man, and a couple other bands. My band performed blues as well. And we raised a lot of money and awareness to help his Feed Our Children organization. And we did it the next year at the Dave's Aqua Lounge. So things were starting off really good for him. And I also helped them with the church benefit that year as well.
So that was back at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it had to be in the 90s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, blues is the heritage of certain parts of Tampa Bay. Sarasota Slim is in the Tampa Bay area is a legend. So when you mention him, I used to go to blues ships all the time. I love the blues. And when you said that, that's near and dear to my heart. So tell us some other community events like that you got involved in this community since you've been here.
Well, one thing about my life is that the most rewarding things I've ever done is helping other people. And I can take that and look at myself in the mirror and know that what I've done for other organizations is something no one can take away, you know?
Well, I say this, Angela like this. People on the other side, elected officials are called public servants.
That's right.
But people on the other side, they like the public, but they don't do no service. So we want true public servants.
Absolutely.
Serving the community in the public, and you have to have a passion for public service. And Angela know about that because her father.
When you're a politician, you spend a lot of time in constituent services, which means helping people.
And to me,
right.
I look at this opportunity as an honor to do something bigger than I've ever done, than helping people in my community or my family. I have a privilege to help millions of Americans in Florida and better their lives and make their lives better.
All right.
More positive.
All right, let's get to some nitty-gritty now.
That's excellent.
All right, let's get to some nitty-gritty. What makes you uniquely qualified and uniquely different from your opponent? Why should the voters vote for David Tillery for State House 66 other than your opponent? Tell me what's uniquely different about you that can benefit our constituency.
Okay. I've had a lot of different experiences working as a sales rep for a major electronics company where
you're talking to the sales guy, right?
I'm dealing with spreadsheets and sales, talking business to business, CFOs and corporate owners to handle their electronic component needs in the areas of millions of dollars.
So I take that to mean you have a sense of business. You have some business skills.
A lot of business skills.
Acumen, that's it,
There you
Angela.
go.
That's right.
Yes. And what else separates you from your opponent? Because you got to give the voters a reason to vote for you.
Yep. I have a strong commitment to having a lot of compassion in my life. That's sorely missing right now in state leadership, compassion and wisdom. I find myself trying to do things in life that are more wise, make the decisions that work for long-term needs. I also want to focus on solid information and sound advice. A lot of people will just go by some issue that they are led by one person and one controlling factor by either a big corporation or others. My goal is to take all the information I can and all the scientific information I can when it comes to health and services like that, and use that to benefit the people of Florida.
All right.
I know you went through a list of reasons why we should not vote for your opponent, like she is against women's rights.
Yes.
LGBTQ rights.
That's right.
I mean, we got some definite
Voting
reasons.
rights.
Voting
rights.
Right. So talk about things that your opponent, like Sister Angela just said, that they stand for, which is outrageous to stand for, and you won't stand for. So we giving you a chance to blow it out now.
She's a check mark
Yeah.
for the opposition.
So think about this.
All right.
A law that disallows people to get water while they're waiting in line. Where is the compassion and wisdom in that? Why is that on?
And
why
your
is that a
opponent
law?
support that.
She supported that.
All right, number one. Come on with the next one, too.
Number two, why would anybody want to try to whitewash history, whether it be black,
Preach, brother.
white, Indian
Native
Americans?
American, yeah.
Yeah. Why would they want to do that? Why? Because they don't want people to know the facts
No, the
about
truth.
the truth.
Number two. Go to number three real quick because we're almost out of time for this segment.
Why would anybody want to take away the rights of people that are tax-paying Floridians that are LGBTQ? They're just as equal as everybody else.
They want to put them back in the closet.
They want to live a happy life. They want to be, if they want to have a marriage that's legal, they should have it. If they want to.
And don't forget black rights. They want to roll us back to
Absolutely.
slavery. So
That's right.
they want to keep the monuments and the Confederate flags flying, and they want to keep. They're saying that Black Lives Matter is a militant group when we are saying Black Lives Matter like everybody else's life matter.
Many of these laws are based on hate, and they use
He
fear
said it.
to promote their hate.
Because it's real.
And that's sad. That's not wise. That's not compassionate.
And so you're telling our listeners, let's be very clear on this, that your opponent, all those things you just listed out, are lengthy things, about 4 or 5 things, she support all that. Well, that seems like the choice is
Enough
very
for me.
clear.
Vote your conscience.
Vote your conscience.
In this race.
It's in this race, vote your conscience, and look like it's very clear why you should vote your
I
conscience.
have one more thing to say about that.
Throw some more stew in it then.
Why would anybody deny the science during a global pandemic
wow.
without a vaccine and then
Yes.
tell people to use a drug that's not even qualified, tell people to not wear a mask and make a joke out of it?
Or use Clorox as far as that go. So this
Why?
Well, this is what I'm talking about messaging. They pull anything out the closet and top of the head and say.
We
There-
need to believe in science.
Yes.
Their lack of action caused Florida to be the highest death rate
80,000 people dead.
in the United States.
All right, so what we're going to do when we come back, you got some bright ideas, David, but we're going to talk about the reality of having a Republican-controlled legislator and how you're going to use your coalition skills to work on both sides of the aisle and bring back some beef bacon. Let's see, can you do it? We'll be right back. Tampa Bay Politics. Angela Birdsong and Jarvis Salami. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Tampa Bay Tammy
Your girlfriend.
on In Touch Radio. In Touch Radio.
Ray Williams Funeral Home, providing the highest quality, professional, and caring service for your family. Call Jeffrey Rhodes at 813-253-3419. That's 813-253-3419. Or visit him at 301 North Howard Avenue, Tampa, Florida. Ray Williams Funeral Home, for the finest care and quality service.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and I'm running to be your next Hillsborough County Commissioner in District 2. And I want to encourage you to vote by mail. You can do that by contacting your supervisor of elections in your county. Voter suppression is real, and we have to be prepared to vote and get your family members registered. Do it today. Call me if you have a question. 813-476-4837. 813.
All right. Welcome back to Tampa Bay Politics. Jarvis Elamine and Angela Birdsong, In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everybody can be a star, including Jarvis Elamine and Angela Birdsong. We're stars today, Angela.
And we got a star in our midst,
Yes,
Mr.
we sure.
David Tillery.
Yes, and David, you are passionate about what you're going to do when you get to Tallahassee. So as I promised the listeners, and if you'd like to call in, listeners, 813-444-9588, 813-444-9588. Going into Tallahassee is going into a hostile territory.
Environment. Yes.
Yes.
It is.
So, you got to understand that it's a Republican-controlled House and Senate. How's David Tillery as a supermajority? And how's a David Tillery, a freshman, going to work on both sides of the aisle, use his persuasion and coalition building skills to get something done? It's on you.
Well, we have to address a super coalition like that with super attempts. And my goal is to create a new law where we will do something that the right-wing preppers have been doing, and that's to create a freeze-drying facility to take the food that's going to waste from grocery stores, agriculture, and many, many more locations, and put that together into a freeze-drying facility that will preserve the food for up to 25 years. And this will be a pilot project to show for other states. This food will be stored, and it will be a new job factor where people will be hired to do this. It will create, and we can use green energy to do this. We can have this food preserved and create a stockpile of food that we can use in case of emergencies, such as hurricanes, floods, even over time. And if this spreads, we'll be able to feed an entire city or an entire nation if we have to. It's something that should be done. It's a great idea that they're doing on their home, in their little homes out in the middle of the rural areas. They protect their food. They freeze dry it. This can be done on a statewide level. And
You know what I like about that is that inflation is real. Mm-hmm. And the food prices are outrageous. So
Yes.
anything we can do with the growing of food, saving food, distributing food is huge.
And that's all good, David.
Yeah.
But now I want you to transition to your coalition skills and how you're going to work with those people on the side of the aisle.
And with that,
Because I know freezing food and preserving food is not partisan. That's for all human beings.
Yes.
yeah, with that in mind, I want to take a project for all the other representatives to build a garden from scratch.
Community garden.
A community garden where we plant the seeds that we pick out, and we are responsible, each one of us, to care for it on a calendar basis, where one person has to go water it and pull the weeds or whatever, and we can see the results of our hard work. And once we know that we're learning as a group
to work
together
Mm-hmm.
and see the beauty of nature and its essence as it grows, I think that will give a message inside their hearts that we can work together and we can create solutions. And we should have an idea that this job is for people, not for our own gain, not for big corporations. It's for the people of Florida.
I like it. I like it.
And I like the idea of working on nonpartisan issues.
Right. and giving some
Humanitarian issue.
right,
Yes.
some exercise of working together. And we know it's going to be challenging because you got some staunch Republicans, right wing extremists, and so we know it's going to be challenging. But you up to the task. And,
Yes.
and that's the thing that really matters. Let's talk about now. If God, the higher power, bless you to be elected, what would be your first 3 priorities when you get there legislatively that you'd like to see done? You'd like to try to get it passed.
I would like to first improve voters' rights. At first,
That's a good one.
we
Amen.
need to make sure we protect our democracy. If we lose that, we lose everything. I want to try to create a bill that will put together a holiday for a state holiday for general elections.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm going to get to the second and the third. But that came up from another state rep, Finch's Justice, because that same question came up in the meeting that we had with her yesterday. Yesterday. And she said somebody passes this bill every year. Every year somebody come up with what you just said, and Republicans take it and chop it up like chopped liver. Every year this comes up. So my question to you is, being that you know that now, you heard it first on Tampa Bay Politics that somebody pass a bill like this, try to get it passed. What will you do different to try to get this
Well,
passed?
first of all, voting rights is not a partisan issue. It's a issue that each party has to know that this is our democracy, and at the very basis of what we do, we need to know that our voters on both sides have that protection to have a holiday to go out and
Unfortunately,
vote.
it has turned into a partisan issue.
It is a
Yeah.
partisan issue because all you got to do is ask the people January the 6th.
The more-
tell them that.
The more
Yes,
voters that are aware
There you go.
that are aware of this issue, that it is a nonpartisan issue, including on the Republican side, the more Republican voters realize they have an opportunity to have that day off to do their civic
I
duty.
love it. I love it. I just think that one of the things I'm going to give you some
Yeah.
unsolicited advice. I think you got to get the people calling the legislator. You got to get them texting them, tying up the phone, get them to come down to Tallahassee and march and protest. That's the caveat got to
That's
be
right.
with that. You know,
That's the
it just can't be
organization.
somebody getting no bill. You got to put pressure. You know, LBJ said when they were trying to get the civil rights bill passed, LBJ said, "Make me do it."
I'm willing to do that. I'm
So we
willing
gotta
to
make
put
'em
all
do
that
it.
effort in there.
Well,
All
we
right,
could make them do it by having a new governor.
That's right.
That would help a lot.
That would be an excellent idea.
That is an excellent idea. And I'm going to tell you something, Andrew. You hit it on the head. Because you can do a lot of executive orders if we got a Democratic good governor. So that's good. We see how we work together.
Charlie Chris,
It's all
you
that's
can,
right.
you can change Florida and you can change America.
You sure can, because we are definitely a state that's very, very important. The second priority.
Second priority is to improve public education.
Okay.
I'm endorsed
like
by
that.
the Public Education Caucus.
Okay,
And
that's good.
My goal, I grew up I went to Adams Junior High School. I went to Chamberlain. I knew at
Public
the-
school.
Public school. They were great. They didn't have air conditioning back then either, but they got air conditioning. Why? Because we needed the funding. Now we need to do even more. We need to protect our dollars from going to private charter school vouchers. That is sapping out the much needed money that goes to public education, and it needs to stay there.
Well, it's a constitutional mandate to fully fund education, which should never have been done. We need to fully fund education.
Now, I want to tell you, I'm not against charters, but we got to remember only 10% of our children end up in a charter.
Exactly.
Well,
90% of our children are still in
Public
public
schools.
schools.
I want to clarify, there are public charter schools. I'm not against them. I'm for
Right.
the private schools that are getting it.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because you know, Andrew, there are some private charter schools that's tied to the opposition party that's making a hunk of money on the construction side.
Yes.
They building the schools and they making money off the schools.
It's a money thing.
Yeah,
And
it's a real money
money
thing.
There's
and
no
they
ch-
don't. And let me say this: when they building the schools, there's not no equity and inclusion. So they're not bound by having minority participation in those projects. So it's a lot of bad things wrong with private charter schools.
There's no checks and balances, period.
There you go.
None at all. There's no way to know
None
how they're
at
spending
all.
their money. A lot of them close due to mismanagement, and then where you are.
Then the children
yeah.
end up back in public school.
Yep. There's
The
a,
90%, they end up with the 90%.
they
they
have the
keep the
legal
money.
they have the
That's right.
they have the legal right to discriminate because under religious purposes, if they are known that if a son or daughter is trans or gay or bisexual,
Almost.
they can just say you're not in the school anymore. They can do the same for low.
bad
They do the
behavior.
same for low income housing kids too.
Yeah.
So
No, and you brought some great information because knowledge is power, knowing that it's good. Give me your last priority before we go to our next segment.
healthcare.
I'm glad you said
Oh,
that.
I like healthcare.
Right.
I'm the Medicare lady.
And it's also open enrollment, ain't it, Angela?
Hey, you know what? The
Talk about that real
15th
quick.
of this month is starting open enrollment, which means if you're in an Advantage plan or you want to change your Part D plan, you can do it starting this month up until December the 7th.
Okay, October the 15th. That's next week.
Yeah.
Because today is the, what, 12th?
It's just
3
about
days
now.
ago.
It's just about now.
It's just about now.
I'm glad you brought that up.
So talk about now, Mr. Tillery. Talk about when you say healthcare. What you mean when you get
We're
that?
talking that the missing federal funds that should be going to Medicaid, Medicare, Florida. It's been denied in the past, and we need it, and it may be even denied right now. We need to make sure that seniors, patients' rights are protected. There are a lot of books on the law that prevent them from getting the care they need. A 9-page document that they have to go through when they lose their caregiver is just devastating for a patient. There's also many other problems within the healthcare system for assisted living, housing, and all of that needs to be repaired.
Boy, you just went through a litany of
Sure
things
did.
right there. First of all,
There's
we
more of that,
need
yeah.
Medicaid expansion.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to get to. I'm glad you hit it.
Yes, we need it. And then the long-term care issue.
I learned
That
this
is the big gorilla in the room.
as a caregiver for my mother for the last 6 years of her life, and a caregiver for my brother now. I've learned how to navigate through the Medicare and Medicaid issues for them on a personal basis. That's a little anecdotal, but I've seen the big picture as well in discussing with my endorsees, such as the Senior Caucus and the Disability Caucus. They've given me more insight than I've had prior to running. So
Let me ask 2 questions. Throw a question out for Angela or to you, David. What's the real holdup in Tallahassee? Why expanding Medicaid? They had the federal money. Why they want to spend it?
Republicans.
Just that simple?
Just that simple.
Wow.
We don't have the votes.
Okay.
It's-
And why? And what
I'll tell you
reason
why.
they use
It's
it?
political.
Okay, but besides political, what even when they do something political, they come up with a con and say this is why they not spending. Why they not spending?
They don't want to say that they relied on a Democratic party under the Biden administration who would effectively take credit for giving that money to the state, and they
But
don't
the
want to
people
be.
will benefit.
It's all about
That doesn't
that
matter in
partisan.
Tallahassee.
It's about the optics of a Republican run state taking federal funds from a Democratic president and federal administration to them is wrong, and it means more to them to not take the money, to show that no, we didn't take your money.
Well, we got to vote blue. That's what it come down to now. Then, if you're gonna put it like that,
You
David.
sounding like Angela Birdsong.
Yeah, we got to vote blue. If it come down to that, freedom start with voting blue. Val Demings for U.S. Senate. We got the U.S. House. We got Kimberly Walter. We got Kathy Kessler, Alan Cohen, Jane Singener. Did I say that right?
Jane
And
who?
Jane is District 16. Jan Stigner. I think I'm right. Lieutenant Governor and Charlie Crist and Hernandez. Aries Ayala. Addison Hanley.
Who was Aramis and Ayala running for?
Attorney General.
Oh, yes, your Attorney General.
Right, and Chief
candidate.
Financial Officer Adam Hattersley,
CFO.
Commissioner of Agriculture, a sister, Haitian sister down in Miami, Naomi Bloomer, State Senate Janet Cruz, Rousson, and Mike Harvey, and State House, my man, none other than David Tillery. This is 66.
He's going to be on your ballot.
Be
with
on your
Angela
ballot. And
Birdsong.
Angela Birdsong getting rid of a 20-year career politician, getting rid of Ken Hagan. We're gonna retire him, and that's District 2 County Commissioner. District 1, Harry Cohen. District 5 is Mary Ellen Smith, and District 7, Kimberly Overman. And this is what we're talking about, why we got to go blue. Because if you put the narrative that you put out there, that we in this man and Medicaid because it's all political, then we got to play politics too and get people in there that can play politics, and we can get it. Got to be expanded. You got people who can't afford Obamacare, and they expanded and gave more money during the pandemic, and these people in Tallahassee still blocked it.
Mm-hmm. It's
It's a shameful
Do you
God.
think they want something named Obamacare to succeed?
That's a good point.
like I said, there's not enough compassion. There is absolutely
do
not
not.
Not enough compassion. I don't see none.
None.
I don't see none. And look like we almost get ready to do our last segment. I tell you something. You've been a very great guest. Next week we're gonna have in the studio with us. We promised her last week, Angela, but I did talk to her. We're gonna have Nancy from Faith in Florida talking about getting out the vote. It's a faith-based organization that get faith communities involved in the political process.
Oh, and we love it.
Yeah, so she's going to be here next week. I did confirm her, so it's going to be the 19th. And so I'm going to be rushing back because 18th is going to be my birthday. I'll be rushing back. I'll be down in Port Charlotte with my wife trying to get a house together down there, but I'll be rushing back for that. We have in the studio with us David Tillery running for State House District 66, a new district. We want him to get elected. We back him. We also have my friend, none other than Angela Birdsong, District 2 County Commission. We're going to get rid of Ken Hagan. We'll be right back.
See them two brothers in the grill located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and I'm running to be your next Hillsborough County Commissioner in District 2. And I want to encourage you to vote by mail. You can do that by contacting your supervisor of elections in your county. Voter suppression is real, and we have to be prepared to vote and get your family members registered. Do it today. Call me if you have a question. 813-476-4837. 813-476-4837.
Been in a car crash? Call Ricky. Don't know what to do? Ask Ricky. We will connect you with a lawyer and doctor experienced in auto accident injuries. Call Ricky at 844-361-7425. After an auto accident, you have 14 days to seek medical attention. You may be in pain, so call Ricky, ask Ricky for your best options. 844-361-7425. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal and medical referral service. The lawyers in our network pay to receive referrals.
All right.
We are back with Tampa Bay Politics. Our guest in the house today is David Hillary, your next candidate for State House, which will be on your slate card. Let me just say that your ballots are in the mail if you vote by mail. If you need a slate card, please let us know. 813-476-4837. There's some horrible judges we can get rid of. We got the state of Florida slate card for you. And then your early voting starts on the 24th of October.
Right, and you can go to your votehillsborough.org and get your early voting locations. They open from 9 to 6. And let me just tell y'all, these races, Angela, David, is won in vote by mail and early voting. Mm-hmm. In Atlanta, among the blind, the one-eyed man rule. And what's ruling now is early voting and vote by mail. So don't play that down. If you're running for office, you're going to be grinding doing early vote. You're going to be grinding doing vote by mail. So real quick, because
that's
people don't.
Now. Vote by mail is now.
That's right now. So that's why I'm glad you mentioned it. But let me say this to those who got the ballot. Don't just be playing with that Florida Supreme Court, because they can change a lot of this foolishness going on. Charles Hannity, no. John Carrera, no. Jamie Grossens, no. Jose George LaBrara, yes. Ricky Pasta, no. So ain't nobody under the Supreme Court but George that you vote for.
Okay. So the easy way to remember is say no to everybody but Jorge.
Jorge. All right. That's another Spanish word for George.
That's right.
All right, then. So we got that out the way. And let's say this to you, brother. Homeowners insurance. I know. I deal with it. I telling Anders about it. They almost wanted to double my homeowners insurance.
Oh, no.
It was like $1,800. They were going to charge me $3,500. Now I ended up having to just shop around and got it a little lower.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What's the same for God? The insurance company are leaving. You seen Hurricane Ian just come through. Indeed, you know, you got this DeSantis, Satan, going to call a special legislation session for homeowners insurance.
And did nothing.
Did nothing. What in your mind, brother? I want to hear from you. That you think we can do to get in control of this homeowners insurance? This is out of control.
The problem all started with assigned benefits, and that's a short term for where I sign over as a homeowner the rights to claim a insurance claim with my own insurance company to a roofer or somebody else. Mainly it's a roofing industry. If you've seen them in your homes, they'll come to your door. Hey, let me look at your roof. I'll give you a free roof if you sign this paper. And then they have to litigate it in court against the insurance company. This has created a huge, huge problem because now the insurance companies are honor bound by fighting tons of ridiculous false claims to have their roofs fixed. And this has caused a huge financial problem on the insurance companies. The insurance companies are held hostage that way. But the problem isn't just that. The problem also lies with the fact that if we remove the assigned benefits, by the way, that will fix a lot of the problems. Another problem is that a lot of the real estate in Florida homes are owned by companies, these large magnates that have thousands and thousands of homes under their portfolio that they rent. They control the rent, and that's getting crazy. So what I would propose is that a company that has more than 100 homes, 10% of their homes has to go to affordable housing. The affordable housing company.
This is a huge issue.
Yeah.
They are trying to take away the affordability of homes.
So this is a monopolizing problem on the Florida real estate. And because of their many homes, that causes a problem with young home buyers competing with them, buying up the market.
Competing with corporations to buy a house.
Stop right there, because you put that was a lot of stew in that. You put a lot. I want to go back to that first thing you talked about. Now, in the public, brother, hear me out on this. It's going to be hard to get anybody to have a little mercy on an insurance company. We know they're false claims because they knock on your door. They down in Port Charlotte and all down in South Florida, Southwest Florida now. Roofers down there knock on the door, sign this. Assigned benefit, I know that's a problem.
Yeah, I did want to finish that point.
Okay, because I want you to finish it. Because, number one, it's going to be hard to get people. They don't like to pay. Insurance company don't like to pay. When you give them a claim, they give you every reason not to pay. So trying to get a little sympathy for them is going to be hard, but we want to have the law and be just, so work with that.
So the second half of that,
please,
which I didn't get
give
finished.
us the most stew in that.
The most important thing is after the assigned benefits are removed, we would hire even more oversight, more people that are hired by the state to monitor these policies and these claims above the insurance company to make sure that they're paying the claims off and that the people that are filing false claims are identified. We need more oversight by the state to control what the insurance company is doing.
I love that.
Keep them legit.
Now, what you did then, you brought me back because you had lost me.
Yeah.
That's the balance. That's the balance that we need. Because, insurance companies, false claims, but you ain't been no good brokering this because you don't like to pay.
Yeah.
You like to collect premiums.
There's also one other
That's an insurance
idea I wanted to throw out.
Thank you.
I wanted to have the state create an incentive for companies that are not in Florida yet to create them an opportunity and an incentive
to come here
and do this. Once these positions are in place, such as oversight of the insurance industry by the state, and then once we have that, we can offer incentives to other insurance companies, which will create more competition and lower the price of insurance.
You got some great ideas on that, Angela.
And you know what I'm thinking? We need Charlie Chris.
Yes.
Because the governor we have now
ain't gonna do it.
None of that.
And you ain't going to get it done in the legislature because you're outnumbered, so you're going to have to do it by executive order. But we also need a town hall meeting to educate the citizens, the community, about that bright idea you just said. That's a great idea, brother. I'm really impressed with that. The other part of that is that how do we now, what I want to say about insurance company leaving, they like a kid. You don't pick me on your team, I take my football and I leave. Yeah, because now you don't want to pay claims. You pack up and say, I'm leaving.
I'm bankrupt.
I leave. We know you ain't bankrupt. You ain't leaving. That incentive to bring new players into the game, what you just talked about. Say that again. What's the incentive to bring new people in the game?
Well, we have a system in place after assigned benefits are gone.
Okay.
We have a system in place where we have more oversight from the state on the policies and the claims, and then we can offer incentives to new companies, knowing that we're running a legitimate operation on insurance here, and then take those new insurance companies, bring them into Florida, bring them in there, have them sign new policies, and have them compete. So there's not a monopoly.
I love it.
Competition brings down rates.
Sure
it
do.
does.
But you know, brother, you sharp. You impressed me. That's why you need new people, Angela. That's why we need to get rid of
And
Ken A. We need
good
somebody, some
people.
fresh ideas. No, we need fresh ideas. The new broom sweep clean. We need new people. We need new people that's being elected because they bring
Amen.
something new to the table.
Yes.
Yeah, that old cobweb thinking. We're going to get rid of that cobweb thinking. That's some bright stuff you're talking about. So let's transition to affordable housing. That's a crisis in the state. It's a crisis.
Oh.
So you're going to have to hit it and quit it like James Brown. We only got a few more minutes left. But hit that and quit it real sharp. Affordable housing.
Affordable housing is an issue where we need to, like say for homeless helping homeless, they don't have the money. And of the people that are homeless, they need an opportunity to get their lives back together. There are the independent organizations such as those charities that are actually buying property and using their ability to help those people that need affordable housing. We need to using this law that are in real estate companies who have more than 100 homes. That'll help improve housing because we'll have more available real estate and homes to offer better prices for.
Real quick, the
Yeah.
Sadowski Fund. How are we going to stop the people from raiding the Sadowski Fund?
The what?
The Sadowski Fund.
Ah,
How are we
okay.
going to stop being raided by
Well, anyway,
Tallahassee?
we know that you're a vote not to raid
Right.
the Sadowski Fund.
Oh
we
yeah,
already know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
So talk about that real quick.
Which is on funds that are dedicated for
Affordable housing. That's
Yeah.
not being used for affordable housing.
Well,
They're
it
throwing
is
it to the general fund. That's one of my points.
there needs to be stronger laws, more, I would say, amendments to those laws to improve them, to protect that. And if I get to Tallahassee, I will work on getting those amendments created and signed into law.
All right, he did good, Angela.
You know, I do want to bring up one thing. You said something that was a very strong comment. You said that people who know you in your district are voting for you regardless of party, and that is
Strong.
amazing. That's
Especially
strong.
in Lutz. In Lutz, we had an issue. There was air curtain incinerators planned on being built in a residential area in Lutz. This
They
happened.
was just going to burn up a whole lot of toxic chemicals in the middle of a residential
Yep.
neighborhood.
And
Oh, that's crazy.
I fought against that at the EPC meeting in August, and
Made it happen?
Yep, at the EPC in Hillsborough County, I protested with the residents of Lutz.
Got Angela Birdsong
Got
involved
you
in that?
involved? Yes,
right.
I got the petition shared. But prior to that, even then, my friends in Lutz were also just supportive of me anyway because they knew me. They came to me and they said, I'm tired of the existential threat of losing our democracy. I'm tired of the Trumpist culture wars. I'm sick of it, and I'm a Republican. Here's a check.
And then add
And
Roe
they would
versus Wade
support me.
onto that.
Yeah, so that is fantastic. That's good that you can have nonpartisan, get people to work with you regardless
On
of
both
what
sides of
both
the
sides of the
aisle.
aisle. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So we almost out of time. Just give us your closing remarks for 30 seconds, and then we'll have Angela have something to say, and we'll close it out real quick.
Now listen, this is an opportunity that comes to so few people in the world to go to Tallahassee, create laws that can affect people in a positive way. Millions of people. It's an honor if I get this job that I can go there and do my best to help other people. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted to do.
Give your name, what you're running for, and when to vote for you, real quick.
I'm David Tillery, Florida House District 66. And you can check out my website, www.tillery4, Florida.com.
All right, then, Angela,
How
tell
about
us.
phone number?
Right, and give a phone number.
Phone number 813-445-0365.
All right, Angela, give us some updates on what's going on with your campaign that you want to talk about real quick, and I got something I would like to close out with.
Okay, so I just
30
wanna,
seconds.
I just want to say that if you have a vote by mail ballot in your home and you don't know who to vote for besides Angela Birdsong, please call us. Your early voting is starting on the 24th, and we need volunteers at the polls.
Right.
Absolutely.
And what we want to do, there's about 80 volunteers. I want to tell you this. Get in touch with Finch's Driscoll. They about 80 volunteers. They're going to be giving their name, and they can. Some of those can work with you on your campaign. She already agreed to that. Okay. So if you'd like to volunteer, call Angela and go to our website, angelabirdsong.com for kind of commission. Also, we're going to have next the 26th, last Wednesday this month, I'll be at the Well doing a book signing, creating a sales mentality, how to think like a salesperson. We'd like to see you there. We'll see you next week where we're going to have.
Val Demings is going to be at Casa Chris tomorrow.
All right, then. And Val Demings is a ball of fire.
Love her.
And we all love her. She's fantastic. So also, Angela, next week we're going to have Nancy from Faith in Florida. And she will be here next week. So we'll see you next week. Have a good day.